Okay, welcome to the next step. We are going to talk today about repetition. Sometimes we have the need to repeat some tasks, and we have two ways to control how the repetition will happen. One is by condition, other is by the number of the times that we will repeat that tasks. So let's have the first example. The first example will be based in the condition, right? So the condition here, we need to do a task here. We are going to bring the books from the shelves to this basket. It's empty.
Oh, I think I've noticed a cat in the box.
It vanished. So what we will do, we will bring books from the shelf to the basket. And the condition here is we will put in this basket the books that are green. So I will ask Thomas, give me the book, and he will validate the condition. What's the condition?
It's the green.
Great. So let's start.
Okay.
Cool.
First book?
First book, please.
Okay, well the first book appears to be green, so here you are.
Cool. Next book.
All right,
please.
Second book also seems to be green, so here you go.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Next.
Third book also seems to be green, so here you are.
Nice. One more.
All right, well the next one is also green, so why don't you run
How
your loop?
lucky we are.
many green books.
Unlucky, because it will be hard to carry this basket later.
Are we going to read all of that?
And do you have one more, please?
Yeah, well the next one is also green, so here you go.
Man, I'm getting worried now. Next book, please.
Oh wow, well this book is a little bit different because this book is blue, so I'm not going to give it to our Mauricio.
Great. So our condition got unmatched, which means that we stop the repetition here and that we move on with the process. So, okay, my time, I need to carry the box.
You should read all of these books, by the way.
20 weeks later.
Wow, you've read all of those books?
I read the books.
I'm proud of you.
And guess what?
I have no clue.
We need to put it then back to the shelves.
Oh, so we are repeating again. Now, how many books have you read?
I read 5 books.
Okay, so we have to repeat an action 5 times.
Exactly.
Good.
You need to repeat.
However, this time, there is no condition. Because we're taking all 5 books, we know exactly how many elements, and we're putting them back on their own spot as they were before. Right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So, Mauricio.
I'd like to have a class with you, man. You seems to be very smart.
Absolutely, you're more than welcome to. So, can you please give me the first book?
Sure.
All right, thank you, sir. And look, I haven't asked any questions, any conditions, right? I'm just asking for the next book. Can you please give me the second book?
There we go.
All right, great. Thank you for the second book. Can you give me the third book?
One more.
Thank you. Awesome. A lot of knowledge in these books. Now the fourth book.
Next one.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And the last 5th book. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
How did you know that was the last?
Well, because we knew that we had 5 books. I've asked you a question. How many books do you have? So we have predefined how many times we have to repeat this action. 5 books, 5 times. We knew that. And now the action stops.
Great.
Yep.
Smart. Thank you very much, Thomas, for your help.
Well, now that you're super smart.
Loops. And loops can be called, differently. We can call them repetitions. We can call them ways to automate our code. But in reality, when would you use a loop? In what situation? You would use a loop when you have to repeat, hence repetition, repeat the same action or a similar action with the same structure multiple times. This could be calculating or doing descriptive statistics or predictive statistics many times using the same process, right? We use loops a lot. Someone actually told me once, if you don't know how to solve something, use a for loop. And that's probably the best
We
advice I
had
got.
this discussion once that like, it's easier to write a for loop sometimes that search for a function that does what you need to do.
Exactly. So there are two types of loops that can do this, that can automate your process, your tasks. The for loop will run over a predefined quantity. The for loop can run 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 1,000 times, etc. But it has to be predefined. The second type of loops that we call while loops run based on a condition. So we might not know.
Wait, like a condition again?
Oh, this reminds me of the if statements, right?
Yes. So this is a very important thing. Like the conditions here, they should follow the same structure as the conditions that we use in the if comments. So the condition must be complete and return a value either true or false. That's how the while loop will be controlled.
Yeah, and if the condition returns true, then the loop keeps running. But the moment it returns false, the loop stops running. So that's we might not know how many times it'll run initially, but based on the condition, it'll know when to stop. Whenever it's false, right? Whenever the condition is false. Correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, good.
So let's go to R and check how the syntax work.
Yeah. Let's do some coding.
So let's check here in our R Studio how the loops work. So let's first clean our environment because we want to have it ready to show all the variables and how the things are happening in our code. So now we are going to connect some other skills. So we spoke about variables, we spoke about vectors, we spoke about conditions. We learned how to read text from the console. We learned how to show it. So we are gaining skills, and our code now of course will increase, right? And it will become more difficult.
That's the goal.
And so let's start with first creating a list of names. So the goal of this code is to receive from our user a list of names. While they type something, they type a name, I will save this name in a list, which we call vector. And when he wants to stop, we will just press enter, and this empty value will be skipped. So that's the goal of this code, the first part. So let's.
Do you know that you've just created a document? You've documented your code.
Oh,
right?
that's a good like. And I will. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Indeed, I did. I repeated exactly what I planned to write.
Yep. Very good.
Cool. So first, let's define an empty list of names. So see here in the environment that we have list names with a null value. So I have a vector with no elements. To start my condition, remember the condition must be true or false. And the condition I will see very soon that it's the name must be different than empty. So I need to put something inside the variable name. I decided to put an space just to make it easy. So here we see in the environment the variable name with a space. So let's let's see our while loop. So what does this loop do? So while the variable name is not equal empty, repeat. So what this piece of code does? Name receive read line, type the name. So remember, the user will type the value that he types, go to name. And after I receive this name, I will add the name to the list. So this is how I keep attaching new values to the vector. So I use the command to create vectors with the original one with the element that I want to add. So let's run this piece of code. So first name, I'll type my name first now.
Is that your first name?
This is my first name.
Good.
So Thomas.
Oh, that's nice.
So attention, name Mauricio, and the list names has only Mauricio. When I type Thomas and enter, look, the variable name changed to Thomas, and I look at list names. Now it has two elements. First element Mauricio, second element Thomas. Let's use the name of your daughter again, Zoe.
Oh yeah, my first daughter. Yoo-hoo.
So now the variable name has Zoe, which was read by the read line, and the vector list names has three elements: Mauricio, Thomas, and Zoe. So I want to stop my inputting names here. So remember, the condition to stop is to have a variable name with an empty value. So to represent the empty, I will just press enter. And look that now I got the prompt in the console again, and the name has the empty value. As I don't validate the information here, the value empty came into my list as well. So after I input the list, I have this print, just say that end of names inputting should be right. And okay, don't worry.
Singular, plural, same thing.
So, and let's print our vector. So here our vector shows Mauricio, Thomas, and Zoe, because we have those are the elements that have values. So as we have these three elements with values, let's do it. Let's run the print. I want to print the first element, print the second element, print the third element. If I had 1000 elements, by following this structure, I should write 1000 lines of code.
That would take you a lot of time.
Yeah, and I don't have time nowadays. And of course, coders learn. Usually we are lazy. We try to save time. And that's why we use the for loops too much. Because here, what we will do is use the for loop to substitute all these comments that I repeated. So I will repeat this comment. I will write it only once, and I will repeat it inside the for loop. How will I do that? So I will use the variable index. I will start with the value 1. I will go through all the number of elements that the list of name has. So this is a function that helps me get this value, and I will print one by one the elements of this vector. So let's run this, and there we go. So remember that the last element is the empty one. So here Mauricio, Thomas, the second one, Zoe, and the empty element. Pay attention here that R created the variable index, which is the variable that's controlling our loop, right? So then we have this variable, ended with the value 4 because it's the highest value that our repetition assumed during the process. So to help you train your loop and your condition and your operations, calculation, everything that you learned so far, we had these 2 challenges for you. So the first one is to fill a vector with up to 10 grades and print the average, the highest value and the lowest value. So think which loop structure you can use here. And the second one is to write a script that repeats until the user types n. So which loop should you use? And inside the block, in between the curly brackets, you should ask the user for their height, weight, calculates the BMI, which I gave you the formula there. Remember, parentheses, multiplication, division, remember the priorities, and show the results as below. So instead of showing the numbers, which you can also show, translate it to something that your user will understand. So normal weight, overweight, or obesity. Okay? Share with me your code later.